Okay, so I'm going to attempt to do the can wraps with the UVDTF prints I had made up. I do have to kind of test them because I couldn't remember my exact measurements, and I may have to trim a little bit off the bottom to make them fit right. So first I'm going to trim them down to begin with. The ones that I hadn't already trimmed down. I may have just made them a smidge too tall and possibly a smidge too wide around. Jessica has since added a glass can wrap option or category to the gang sheet builder. So do be aware of that. And she's been adding lots and lots of images. So you should be able to find tons of fun stuff there. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit nervous about applying these because, well, you get one chance. So I'm going to take all the lids off, unwrap them all. And I'm going to wipe them down with alcohol first and let them dry. Just a little bit. I mean, they are all clean to begin with, but so I'm just going to put my hand on the inside and give them a quick wipe. These are not snow globes or anything, they're just plain tumblers. So there we go. That is that. That's all they need. And I'm just going to kind of gauge. So this one will be good, I can tell. And it's going to about meet up perfectly. And I may have already tested this one too, because the curve on this is so far up. On this particular one that I ordered from Amazon, some of them are flat bottomed. I might be okay. All right, I think we're going to be good. So I think this is just on the inside from my hand. Yes. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give myself an anchor. So the UVDTFs have a backer sheet, a top sheet, and the ink layer. Because the only thing that actually transfers is where there's ink. Just making sure that's smoothed back out pretty well. Okay. And I'm going to get this lined up as good as I can. The bottoms. Peel my anchor off. And I'm just going to hope for the best. You really only get one chance with these. And I'm actually going to cut this right at the printing because I don't want to overlap when I get to the other side. And I think I'm going to. And I think I'm too far down on the glass as well. I'm going to lift a piece of this top layer. Yeah, I'm too far down. I'm still below the curve. So I'm going to have a little bit of a fold here. I should have started more at the top. But I don't want to come around and have the transfer end up where I didn't cut this complete off the side, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to cut some of that off. And then go back to what I was doing. That way, if it does overlap at all, it would only overlap onto itself. And I didn't quite get that perfect. And I'm ripping my print where it's uneven on the bottom. So yeah, this one's going well. How you doing? Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so I think what I'll do, even though it's next to impossible to get these off, is I will trim this edge and use a blade to remove that in a little bit. But we'll try and do better on the next one. Okay, so let's see if we can set my edge trimmer high enough to fix this or not. I'm not sure if we can. And I kind of feel like we're going to change the blade while we're at it. So I do really want to get a piece of felt to glue on here. But I think I'm just going to do it on a paper towel since this is glass. I don't really want the glass digging on the metal. Like one of those things I've been intending to do and just have never gotten around to. And I think this is going to require the highest setting. And again, we'll just try and do better on the next one. Yeah, that blade's a little rough looking. I'm still not entirely certain that it'll be high enough. I don't quite think so. I mean, I suppose I could probably lock the blade on top. I just have to make sure I put it back down so it's not as dangerous. going to be better. And we'll see how permanent these really are. Because they're supposed to be pretty permanent. Try not to push too hard. I don't really need a handful of glass. I'm going to buzz it around twice. So what have I learned so far? Definitely measure your glass really well. I actually need a blade to do this. So it might come off in little tiny pieces. But I think it will come off. If I'm careful. Alright, I'm going to get up here where you can see better. I'm trying to run my blade right along the edge. Where I cut. And I'll have to clean this up with alcohol or something. Or just keep scraping it. Okay, so you get the idea. I will finish cleaning this up off camera at some point. So we're going to try to avoid that with the rest of these. So to do that, we are going to try and get a better measurement on the flat part. So I'm going to get down here and try and look at the side. Yeah, these ones curve really far up. So I probably only have really 4 1/4. Let's cut my edge a little tighter, because that was an issue already. And I mean, if I put this at 12, you can see how much excess I have. So I'm going to let the antlers on this one go a little above the 4 1/4. But I'm going to try and cut about an even slice off the bottom. And I don't want to mess up the butterfly bottoms on this one, so that's going to like be what it'll be. There's some flexibility to these, the top more so than the bottom, because they don't have like a super solid print, if that makes sense. Like this one might actually be okay if I started it in the right place. So let's see if we're more successful with these ones. Because I really don't want to trim up every single one. What I mean by flexibility is a small piece is more likely to curve than a giant piece like the bottom. And I did not cut an anchor. Let's see if I can cut an anchor with it in place. Never mind. Never mind. Oh my God, I did not put my piece back on there. This is going so well today. So I forgot to put my anchor strip back, so this one's going to be crooked. But I think because it doesn't quite meet up, it'll be fine. So this is a DIY don't. There's a lot of little pieces. I really should have burnished it better. Your smaller pieces may wind up needing a little more work, which is to be expected because it's only leaving the print. And again, I am still very, very new to these, so don't judge too harshly. There we go. Yeah, see, I'm a little off, but not enough that I'm going to worry about. I don't have any of that puckering problem like with the cow. So let's try once more. And you'll want to cut your anchors as straight as possible for these, because once it sticks where you peeled the anchor, it's stuck. See, I can see that gap. All right, I don't feel any of that pucker now, so we are good. I may have to remove a little bit of the top piece again, because I think I'm going to overlap when I come around, just very slightly. I think this flower is going to sit awfully close to that one. Yep, that would have overlapped for sure. There is no adhesive where the printing is, so when you have a more solid piece, it comes off way easier. There we go. Look at that. Third time's a charm. I would rather use my brayer for this, but I don't know where it is. Just trying to make sure it's really well adhered, especially the smaller bits. So, there we go. Third time's a charm. And let's just do the last one and get this done with. Just making sure I am above that line. And I should be okay. None of my print is going to overlap the top piece on the next one. This does have a lot of fine elements, individual elements, so I'm going to give it a really good burnish as I go. I almost would have rather cut off some of these, but that piece might overlap slightly. We'll find out in a minute here. Yep, sure did. It's all right. It's just a tiny corner. Oh, that's just really light printing, I think. I don't think that's adhesive because it's really light printing. Okay. So in my very limited experience so far with UVDTFs, I find that chunkier is better. Fine will work if you're careful. Careful is not something I typically am, but yeah, I think they're adorable. And these don't need to be sealed. Short of taking like a super scrubber or a razor blade to these are on here. So, I mean, you see how hard it is for me to get this off. So, I will finish fixing this one up. But definitely get your measurements right. Don't order the decals before your cups are in hand, which I didn't do, but I just didn't measure well or bring my measurements with me when I ordered. So, yeah, UVDTF wraps from Butterfly Lane Designs on glass cans. Just keep in mind, every brand of glass can is going to be slightly different. And to be perfectly honest, the way stuff is, I could order this exact same set again and have a different size. So measure twice, apply once. And that is it. I will see you next time.